one podcast, mining the Magic the Gathering community for salt. This is the Howling Salt Mine.
It's the Howling Salt Mine. The Howling Salt Mine.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Howling Salt Mine podcast, the podcast where we delve into those salty minds of the Magic the Gathering community. We find the salty stories, the salty posts that you love, put them in our mind cart, and bring them right back up to you, our dear prospectors at home. As always, I'm your host, Sam, and I'm joined by my singular co-host, Mike. Say hey, Mike.
Hello.
Hello, indeed. And before we go any further, we got to shout them out, our nice tier patrons. And this week we have D. Beeson, Elgo Fogel, Alex Balix, ZZ, Swanky Badger, Strawberry Jake, Joe, Sri the Tree, Silas, Wildwolf 1090, Ruppy, and Mifford. Thanks for being so nice. Perfectly
Nice.
read, expertly read. Won't have to redo it in post.
Definitely didn't redo it in post. Nice.
So Tony's not here. He had plans and, life has to move on. We can't always be waiting for Tony, people.
He's having an extended lunch right now.
He is. Yeah, Tony.
So he's unable to make it.
Tony had like pre-existing dinner plans, but for some reason put it on the Howling Salt Mine calendar and also put it for like 1 to 2 p.m. So in perfect fashion, Mike and I both were
Ragged on him a little bit.
chirping him around 1 p.m. like, hey, are we going to have that lunch?
Don't be late. Don't be late, Tony.
Which is great. But yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of fitting that Tony's not here because we're going to talk about PAX East. Hey, everybody, it's Sam from the editing room. And yes, PAX East was like 2 months ago. We backlogged this episode, and then we had the convention and the convention recap episodes and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, enjoy it. Pretend it's 2 months ago. PAX East was very fun. All right, keep going, guys.
Which Tony also wasn't present for.
Tony did not go, and Mike and I were both there. However, we were there as civilians. We were just enjoying the convention. We weren't working. We were just regular people in the crowd.
And we were only there together for about 10 minutes.
yeah, literally.
We shared a conversation on the side of an EDH game, and that was pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
To show off some bling that had been acquired.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. And I also bought a bunch of bling and was trying to find you after, and I was like, he's gone. He's gone to the winds. He moved on, and he's doing other shit. But yeah, that was funny just to have such a brief interaction.
So you got there first. What was your trip like?
I got there on Friday. So PAX East, for people who don't know, it's a big video game convention, comes to Boston in the Seaport District every year. I have been going to PAX since the first PAX in 2010, I think it was. The first PAX East. Let me look this up. Hold on. 2010. 2010 was the first PAX East. It was at the Heinz Convention Center way back when. So I've been going to PAX with the same group of friends, like plus or minus a couple people, but like the same core 3 friends of mine since the beginning. I think we missed like 2 years around COVID because 2021 they didn't have a convention. 2022 we didn't go. I don't know if we went 2023, but incredible convention, super, super fun. Just been going ever since it started. And this was just another year, me, my buddy Maddie, my friend Mark, and my friend John, all of us come together and just hit this every single year. It's like our time to hang out and jam games and stuff. So, you can play a lot of like brand new games that are coming out. You can play things that haven't come out yet. You can play a ton of board games. You can just buy a bunch of stuff. Like if you want to buy old video game systems or old games, or if you want to buy a bunch of tabletop games and stuff and play test games, tabletop, indie video games. Like there's so many different things that you can do. Generally speaking, as someone who's somewhat of a veteran of PAX, I do so little of that. I don't play test games anymore. I'm going to PAX to chill with my friends, play a handful of board games that we just love to play every single year, and then go to classic console free play and rent an Xbox and play Halo. Because the 4 of us got to be really good friends when we were like back in our Halo days playing a shit ton of Halo. So we're just trying to be goobers, have a good time, and like indulge in nostalgia as deep as possible.
That's great.
So that was pretty much my convention.
What Halo were you playing?
Halo 1, baby. We played Halo 1 and we played Halo 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we did a little bit of both. So we got there Friday. The convention is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It used to just be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but they opened up Thursday. Thursday is actually the best day to go because there's nobody on the show floor and you can just like, there's no lines. You can just do whatever the fuck you want. Like the few years where I have gone on Thursdays, it's been sick. But, you know, not everyone can take off like a random day in the middle of a work week. So it's a little bit hard to make happen. But I got there on Friday and we just immediately hit the convention floor, walked around a little bit. It's kind of hard to walk around the convention floor when you're in like a group of people. I feel like you're always just sort of like shuffling around and being like, oh, where'd Mark go? Where's Maddie? We keep losing people. And then eventually we always hit the indie mega booth is what they used to call it. I don't know what they call it now, but that's where like all the indie game creators set up and they have all these like different booths and things and you can play test their games. And usually that is like my favorite thing. The lines are really short. You can just walk right up and rip games and play test it a little bit and then be like, you know, this is cool. This isn't, I'm done, walk away. I played this really cool High-Ally game. You know what High-Ally is?
It's like
the scoop,
squash
like the plastic scoop.
Yeah, I do.
With a ball and you like whip it. So it was an arcade. It was an arcade station. And this is interesting that the game was only released on arcade. It's like only arcade releases, which I thought was wild because we had fun and we were like, is this on Steam? And they're like, no, you have to buy a $7,000 arcade cabinet. We're like, okay,
Wow.
Well, we aren't doing that. But it was dope. It was super, super fun. And you're basically just like really simple mechanics, 1v1, High-Ally, passing this ball back and forth. That game really sticks out. Played a couple like fighters and stuff like that. A couple really cool platformers that felt sort of like Super Meat Boy. I wish I could remember the name. And then we just hit the board game free play area. We have like 3 or 4 board games that my group rotates through. The first one is 7 Card Samurai, which harkens back to our first time at Heinz Convention Center. My buddy got trapped in a demo with some random dude. It was like late at night. We were, you know, feeling a certain way. We had been like drinking and doing some other things and stuff like that. And my buddy just got trapped talking to this dude and doing a game demo. And we were just waiting for him. And like 15 minutes later, he comes over with the box and he's like, I just bought this game. I don't know what it is. I just felt bad and I felt awkward. So I felt like I had to buy it. And it has since become one of our favorite games to play. So we play that every single year. Then we played this game called Nice Buns. Super fun game. I think it's out of print. So you might have to buy it on like eBay or something like that. But it's basically a game where you are collecting like 3 sets of colored bao buns and you have these like little like dumpling like bao bun pieces that are very cutesy. But the whole interesting component of that game is that it's a dice roller. So you have these 3 dice and one lets you pull buns from this bag. You pull them blind. One lets you exchange or steal buns. And then one lets you take buns from this like center area that has like a set amount there. And the whole thing is you're trying to get 3 sets of 3. But you roll the dice and then you group them. And then the person next to you picks a grouping of dice and they get to keep those.
Oh, interesting. Like a fact or fiction.
Yes.
Moving along.
So there's this whole element of like trying to group the dice in a way that there isn't one that's necessarily incredible because your opponent will 100% take that every single time, but you're also trying to work towards your means. Fantastic game. Really, really fun. People should check that out. And then the last one that we played is, I think it's called Play 9. Let me look this up. One sec. I want to make sure I get this right.
Doesn't even know. Play this every time, but it doesn't even know. Are you? So one of the things that's cool is there's this board game library. Are you guys bringing these games from home to play, or are you finding them at that board game library?
It varies. Some years we will find games there. Like I think that's how we found Play 9 and how we found Nice Buns. But since then we just buy them and we bring them. These are like pretty small board games, so they just fit in your bag super easily. But renting a game, like that's how I found Root. That's how I found like so many games that I love just from, you know, judging a book by its cover and renting a board game and like figuring out how to play it. It is Play 9. It's basically this like kind of golf game, but it's really just about like taking cards and kind of balancing cards on your board. I won't get into the rules, but do not judge a book by a cover with that one, because it looks like kind of goofy, but is incredibly fun. And the strategy is really, really enjoyable. And like I said, then we just played a ton of Halo. So as often as we can, like we just go over to console free play. I think at one point we rented like a Switch 2 and got to play the new Mario Kart for a bit.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just a lot of like chilling and playing like nostalgic games for us, and just really just like core childhood friend group. We've all been friends for decades, just hanging, which is always a good time. Oh, and I bought a bunch of Magic cards too.
Yeah, there's that on the side.
I did buy some shiny cardboard. I went off on my own and did that.
Yep. Yeah, I did the same.
This was your first PAX, right, Mike?
This was my first PAX, so very different experience because I'd never done this before. But I was sort of halfway joining up with a group of friends that had all been there already. So my good friend Nico and sort of a crew of his online D&D friends all play a bunch of games together, but also D&D, and live spread around the country. So they had met up to do like a weekend at PAX. So they were there Thursday and Friday.
Hell yeah.
I went and got dinner with them Friday after work, and then joined for the convention on Saturday and Sunday. So it was pretty fun. They had also then already kind of been doing PAX for 2 days. So I showed up, waited in a big line, but eventually got in, and then was like, okay, so what do I do? Like, what do we do here? And they were like, we've been here for 2 days. So we do whatever you want to do while you're
that's
here.
The best.
And I was like, oh, sweet. Okay, cool. So we did similar stuff. We did I did end up trying a couple of test games. We found Crokinole, which is this
Crokinole's cool.
It was over in the corner. Did you play it at all?
I've only played it. I didn't play it there, but I've played it in the past. It feels kind of like Puckett. Was that the game that you're super into?
It's kind of.
It's got a similar like wooden table kind of skill
wooden
game
table,
vibe.
pegs, pucks.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's got going on. It's a big circular ring, and there's like a little circle of pegs in the middle with just enough space to flick these discs through, these pucks through. So you're trying to shoot into the middle to get into the very center. There's like a little dip that if you get in, it's like 20 points and you take the puck out, basically. But if your opponent has any pucks on the board, you have to shoot at those first. So you have to clear all of your opponent's pucks out before you can start shooting on the middle piece. So it's got this cool bocce-like feel, or not necessarily bocce, but like shuffleboard almost, kind of bocce.
Yeah, kind of bocce.
Knocking other people's stuff out of there. So we found that after, and end up just playing like 2 hours of it, just sitting there, because you can play with 4 people and it's like 2v2. We played at least an hour of it. We were just jamming on it.
That's great.
Super fun to just discover it. All of us be like, oh, I've never done this before, and needing to figure it out. Like the guy comes over and explains it to us, and then a group of people all learning exactly the same game, starting from the same 0 skill and going from there is just great.
It's so fun.
So did that. We played some Commander out in the free play area too. And then I ended up playing this. I did play test 2 different board games while I was there. One was this game called Good Knack, which I was like, this is fun. I'm buying the bundle. So I bought the base game with a bunch of expansions. We should definitely play it next time we get together. But it's this interesting thing where there's placement. So there's like the 3x3 grid in front of you, and then you have a one spot on the side of that 3v3 grid, and your opponent has one spot on the top of it. And that's where your deck is. And the goal of the game is to get a unit in front of your opponent's deck and siege it. That's their fortress. And so like most card games, you're drawing from your deck every turn. But if you're sieged and you need to draw, instead you would mill. And if you would draw from an empty deck, if you mill an empty deck, you lose. So you're trying to push these units over into your opponent's bases, and units have move actions, or they have different powers from 1 to 3. So there's there's like some little guys and some big guys, and then there's like a rock paper scissors sort of thing going on in the units with like creature types, just like
that's cool.
A brute and a soldier and a hunter kind of thing, and each one, you know, gets a bonus when attacking the other one. And then there are all these cards that are very magic-y of like return something from your discard or destroy something or move one of your things when it's like exhausted, you know, when it's like summoning sick or something, basically.
Yeah.
So we played like the demo of that and it was pretty fun. And then I picked up a copy of it and we played the 4-person, because there's a 4-person variant of it
sick.
too, where you're basically just each in like a corner of a map and instead you're fighting like free for all. So that was great. So really interesting there to like play some of these games that are not out or are just coming out and like just for sale basically right now. And then I also played the Slay the Spire board game on Sunday when I went back.
How was that? Was that cool?
It was really cool. We actually played just the demo of it, but we played the Downfall version. So there's a second game that just came out. They have a Slay the Spire board game, and then they have Slay the Spire Downfall, which is you're the bosses and you're fighting down, and
that's cool.
The like boss of the floor is like the heroes. So like you can play as like, but they are Slay the Spire 1 bosses too. So it's like there's a blob boss and there's like the hex fire guy. So you wouldn't recognize them, but there is a bunch of, it's basically all the bosses from Slay 1. So that was fun to play. Is that
just like a deck builder, just like how Slay the Spire is?
It's exactly like Slay the Spire. The main differences are they've like scaled the numbers down to be more like 1 and 2 and 3 so that you don't have to like do the math. And then like there's some tiles that are used to randomize the board. And so some parts of the board are going to be fixed, but you like randomize out like what the encounters on the map are to generate it.
Sounds fucking sick. Sounds really dope.
And it's multiplayer also. So it has that piece going on. Basically, you just like flip an extra enemy for each player that you have.
Okay.
But yeah, it's got like card rewards and like different mechanics and different things that like each of the characters are doing. It's exactly Slay, but in a board game and
sounds
tweaked
great.
A little. It's great. It was fun to play the thing. So we tried to find it in the board game library, but people were already playing it. So
I'm sure, dude.
Like well,
and it's expensive. It was like over $100, like, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a lot. One friend did get it, so I will be playing that at a future point in Battle Standard. But yeah, it was cool. And I did play like one demo game on a computer. It was like a 20-minute demo on like a very sort of top-down tactical RPG.
That's fun.
Like, you know, move your unit on hexes and they have abilities kind of thing. And I got through the demo. It was like, I think it might have been 30 minutes. So not even a short one. It was pretty long demo.
Long, dude.
I ran out of my time and I was like, I think I've played respectfully to the game. It was fine. It was enjoyable. But I've played so many games that are like, you can move a guy from one place to another. And like XCOM or like, I think Fire Emblem is often like it too. And it's like, you have to be something really stand out to pull that off. And to beat
Fire Emblem and XCOM, like you got to have some heat.
To be generic, like Tactical Breach Wizards I played. That game was great and is very interesting and like beat that thing. This was like generic fantasy world C.
Yeah.
And I was like, I played exactly as much of this game as I needed to play.
Yeah, it does have that like, especially in like the indie game area, PAX does sometimes have the I'm at a craft fair vibe where you're walking over to someone's booth and you just glance at it and they're like, hey, and you're like, bye. You know?
Yeah.
I always feel so bad where I'm like, oh, wow, this looks cool. And they're like, oh, do you want to play it? I'm like, I don't. Sorry, I'm going to go. Yeah, it's tough. It's hard out there, dude. Like for every game that's a banger, I think there's like 2 or 3 that are just not really that incredible. It's just tough. There's a lot going on. A lot of competition out there for sure.
Yeah, I did get to meet one patron while I was there, which was awesome. It was cool to meet you, Bobs and Dugnut.
Oh yeah, I also met Bobs and Dugnut there.
And then I also got a bunch of cards, and I like having them. I've decided to old border Lotho
Dude.
I have been acquiring old bordered cards for it, and I picked up like 20 while I was there. So
yeah, you got a big grip of cards, man. It was great. So I also bumped into Bobson after you chatted with them. I knew that they were like in the area, and they DM'd me, and we said hey. And then I also bumped into Pug Superstar, who we saw at MagicCon. Or not MagicCon, but we saw at Command Fest Worcester, who had that crazy Flubs Slime Against Humanity Storm deck.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so I chatted with him and his son for a quick minute. They just like walked by and said hey, which was really cool. So yeah, that's fun. Oh, and then there were a couple people that recognized me at a card shop that were incredibly kind. And we chatted for a little bit. Which was pretty fun. I totally neglected the highlight of my PAX, which is my friend John is getting into Commander. So this group, like we all got into Magic probably in like 2012 or 2013. That was back when you got these big PAX goodie bags and they would have just like Magic decks in them. And every single person who went to PAX just got a free Magic deck. And you would just play Magic all weekend.
There was no goodie bag this year.
The goodie bags used to be fucking insane. You'd get like Magic decks. You'd get, I remember, what's that card game that is
Flesh and Blood.
Super cringe now? Cards Against Humanity. There used to be these like, they used to give like exclusive Cards Against Humanity cards away. Like there was this branded, one year there's this branded like oatmeal pack that came in everything. And it was like, and everyone was like, this stupid oatmeal thing, like, I don't want it. And they were throwing it out. But if you opened up the oatmeal pack, there was, in addition to some oatmeal, an exclusive Cards Against Humanity card within the oatmeal pack. And some people didn't realize it until like the last day. So the goodie bags used to be pretty fucking crazy. But anyways, I digress. So we all got goodie bags that year and got a bunch of free Magic cards and started playing. And I was playing in college and post-college and was teaching my friends, and they all kind of played for a couple years and then maybe dropped off a little bit and didn't really get into it. So John is kind of coming back to it now and getting into Commander. So he brought a precon. So he had the Counterintelligence precon, which is the Edge of Eternity's precon, and he was playing with Inspirit flagship vessel as the commander. So that's the spacecraft. It costs Jeskai. It's got station. At the first station level, at the beginning of your combat on your turn, you can put your choice of a +1/+1 counter or 2 charge counters on up to 1 other target artifact. Very, very cool. And then at +8, it becomes a flying 5/5 and gives all of your other artifacts hexproof and indestructible, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So the deck is basically like a kind of a proliferate shell with like lots of artifact creature synergies and things like that. But man, it was just so wholesome playing with John and chatting with him weeks before the convention because he was so stoked about it. He was like goldfishing his precon. He had like written up all of these notes about like ideal hands to keep, all this kind of stuff, like strategies, like certain cards to keep an eye out for. It was just like, it just reminded me of like my early days of EDH. And I was just my heart was so warm the whole time. I was
Did he busted out the notes while he was playing?
Dude, yeah, he was like, check out my notes that I made. I was like, these are sick, dude. These are good notes. It was crazy, man.
That's
and then
great.
My friend Maddie is also kind of getting back into it. And he picked up the Abzan Khans of Tarkir precon, the Defender one, which kicked ass. So the three of us played a game. Mark has no interest in Magic. He did not pick up a precon. He just did something else while the three of us played a three-way game. So we played a game, and man, it was so much fun. Just all this crazy shit was happening. I was on the Final Fantasy X precon, the Bant one with Tidus at the helm, which is a fucking crazy deck. It was really good. And there's an infinite in it, which is awesome. And like some good counterspells and shit. I was very surprised. I haven't really like played a lot of precon games in the last few years, but I was pretty stunned at like the power that some of these things had. So
yeah, they're pretty decent.
We had some huge upset moments where like Maddie got a massive board state. He had some situation where like John just kept proliferating all of his dudes. He had something where every single artifact that came into play allowed him to proliferate. Yeah, it was Surge Conductor. Whenever another non-token artifact you control enters, you proliferate. And then he used a clone effect to make 2 of them. and then just kept dropping artifacts in and growing all of his shit. So he had like a board with a bunch of like 12/12s on it and was just beating face. So it was just a really fun dynamic game of constantly being like, this person's the threat, we got to deal with them. And then Maddie blocked one of his things with like Hornet's Nest and just made like 13 flying Death Touchers. And we were like, okay, now he's a problem. Oh, and he got Seedborn Muse out. And he was like, this card's good. I was like, yes, Seedborn Muse is very good, Maddie. That card is fucking cracked.
You have found a good card.
Yeah. I was like, that card's dangerous. But man, it was just so wholesome. And like John is just one of those people that even when he loses a game, he's so stoked. He was just happy to be there and happy that cool things were happening. And like, his board got fucking decimated by a board wipe, and he was like, that's so sick. That card's crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this dude is so salt-free. Like, he's got no salt in him. It's just all rolling off him immediately. And it was just a very, like, I don't know, it's kind of like a reminder of, like, those early days of Magic where you didn't get salty and nothing was precious and everything was fun. And when your friend did something crazy, you celebrated it. And when you did something crazy, that's pretty cool too. And it was just good vibes, dude. It was fucking great. Highlight of the weekend, easily.
I had a low light of the weekend, which was the food trucks, dude. One of them it was terrible. The food situation was terrible.
Did you get bad food?
Bad. I did. I went and I waited. I ordered and then I waited 30 minutes at a food truck. I waited 30 minutes for a barbecue pulled pork sandwich on a biscuit, and they ran out of biscuits.
So they just gave you a pile of
no, they just put it on a just like a basic ass hamburger bun. And it was basically cold pulled pork too. And I was like, what am I doing? How did this get? It was Butter Your Biscuit.
Apparently not. Apparently that's called Butter Your
in their name.
Bun.
Exactly. That's exactly. I was like, I can't believe. What do you mean you're out of biscuits? What could you possibly mean by that? And how did I wait so long for this cold meat? Why is this meat cold? I walked in. I was like eating it as I walked back into the convention because everyone I was with had gotten their food 20 minutes earlier and was sitting inside happily eating, and I was standing in the cold waiting for a sandwich. I was not pleased.
Penny Packers, man. Next time you go, you got to hit up Penny Packers. Never punished. Every single time I got my sandwich in like 2 minutes. Fried chicken sandwich. And I got like these deep fried potatoes with like aioli on them, dude. Fucking ripped.
That sounds great. Yeah, it was
incredible.
By far my saltiest moment of the convention.
The food does suck. Like the food situation is rough. You're spending a fuck ton of money just to get like an okay sandwich, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
But Chicken and Rice Guys and Penny Packers, those are the two trucks to gravitate towards for sure.
Yeah. Are those potato things you get at Penny Packers? Are they salty?
They were incredibly salty. Yes.
Wow. I'm jealous.
At one point I went out there and it was like maybe 4 that I was getting my lunch because, we were just on a different time as we were moving through the convention. Mm-hmm. And, they must have given me the equivalent of like 7 full-sized potatoes. And I ate what I could, and then I just gave it to my friends. I was like, I've eaten 5 potatoes, guys. I can't eat anymore. This is going to kill me. But it was pretty dope. Yeah, and it was salty. It was definitely salty.
Oh, but what is salt?
I bet you were fucking salty with that cold ass sandwich, dude.
Dude, I was so fucking salty.
Convention food is so bad in general that when you're like, hey, a food truck, maybe it'll be good.
And then we walked in, and that literally I walked in, and inside the convention, I had missed it as we had walking out. Inside the convention, there was like a pre-made chicken sandwiches on a bun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that would have been better.
Yeah.
And cheaper and warmer. And I was furious, dude.
Did you get your free Red Bull though?
I did get my free Red Bull.
That was
basically exactly after that is when we went and found Crokinole, and I was like, thank God I can spend 2 hours doing this and not being upset about the food that I just had.
Oh, well, salt is frustration in the game. Thank you, Mike. I think we could just keep talking about PAX all day, but this is a Magic the Gathering podcast, folks, and we must move on. Salt is anything in Game of Magic that's going to get you frustrated, grumpy, irritated. Things aren't going your way. Maybe there's a power level mismatch. Maybe somebody board wipes and you don't think it's cool. And actually you wanted your cards to stick around and you're not full of the wonder and whimsy that my friend John has in his heart. Maybe you're like me. And when someone else wins, you're like, would have been cooler if I won, though. There's a lot of different types of salt out there, and we're here to talk about all of them so that we can learn from it and hopefully not be salty in a future game of Magic. As we like to say, it's an Edge of Educational podcast.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, indeed. Well, let's jump into it, dude. Give me a search term here.
PAX.
Let's see. Nothing.
PACKS.
Oh, so many. All right. I got one right here, Mike. This one comes to us from Jimmy Rustler. And the story is titled, Be Kind, Don't Rewind. And the story goes, hey guys, Jimmy Rustler here again, the goober who oopsie-daisied into mass land destruction with a Vandal Blast and Mycosynth Lattice. You guys are killing it. This has become my favorite Magic podcast, and I always look forward to new episodes. This is a bit of a sugar break and a long one, so buckle up. He's lying. It's like one paragraph. my 8-year-old son and I were playing some 1v1 Commander. He got into Magic last year, and it has been so much fun building decks for us to try and cracking packs with him. Mini-Me was playing an 11 the Mage and Mike Dungeon Master deck loaded with lots of dungeon synergies and some big spells for 11's ability. I was playing a Kenrith the Returned King Guildgates deck with some big mana shenanigans. This is the first time playing with a fully loaded 5-color mana base, and I had a slow start trying to figure out which colors to fetch for and when. But overall, it was a great back-and-forth game that culminated with him having most of the Stranger Things characters out and some creatures letting him venture through the dungeon. And I had Kenrith, Seedborn Muse, and Baldur's Gate with the training grounds to refill my hand or life total when needed. On one of the final turns, he finished Dungeon of the Mad Mage and was able to draw some cards and cast a Ruinous Ultimatum for free. I looked up in shock at his amazing lucky draw and instinctively looked in my hand for an answer and found it. Rewind. A janky counterspell. I look back to him and saw the biggest smile on his face, and I tell him, it resolves.
Aww.
With my board gone and defenses down, he full swings and takes me down to 1. Then he surprises me even more by playing a Noxious Revival to put the ultimatum back on top of his library. I cannot tell you how proud I was that he just took me out and made sure there was no coming back. The next turn he won, and I congratulated him on playing the new deck so well his first time. How happy he was from the win was way better than any victory I could have had. Thanks for everything you guys do, and stay salty. I love that, man.
I love that. That is a sugar break.
That's a great sugar break. I really do like that.
Yeah, it's like in poker at the end of a hand, unless you're both in it at the end and you got to flip for it.
Yeah,
you don't have to show your hand. And that's the best part about Magic. Like the end at the end of the game, it's very normal for people to show each other what they had. Magic players love I could have gotten it if I just blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But you don't have to show what's in your hand when the game ends. And if that gets you a better experience in the game that you're having, you should keep that in mind. I love this. This is a great story. This is wonderful.
And especially with like a new player, even more importantly, a young player who's, trying deck building their first time, all that kind of stuff, all those added things there. I think it is important to pull punches every once in a while. I don't think you have to really king make them every single game, but I think it's more fun when they get to have those visceral moments of victory, like that kind of stuff keeps people coming back to the game. And I think you can be overly sweaty sometimes and just ruin someone's day in a game with a newer player. And it's probably not making the game any more fun for you. And it's certainly making it less fun for them. So you don't always have to do the most optimal thing. And you don't always have to counter those spells, Yeah. Sometimes you just
especially when it's your kid. That's great.
Definitely. This actually reminds me of a moment that I had in that pre-con game with my friend John and Maddie. I had Sin, Unending Cataclysm in my hand. Do you know this card?
No.
So it is 5 colorless mana, a green and a blue, for a 5/5 flying trample. And it says, as Sin enters, remove all counters from any number of artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Sin enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is twice the number of counters removed this way.
Oh my God.
And then when Sin dies, put the counters on target creature you control, and then shuffle Sin back into your library. Crazy card. Even crazier card when I'm playing against my friend John, who has this +1/+1 counter proliferate deck. So there was a moment in the game where he was just starting to cook and was kind of like getting things going. And I had the Sin in hand, and I was like, you know what? I could drop Sin right now, completely depower his board. But I also knew that my friend Maddie had a removal spell. Like, he had accidentally tried to cast on a couple things where it couldn't be cast. So we just knew that he had creature removal in his hand. And again, he had the Seaborn Muse, so mana wasn't a problem. So it was a bit of like, well, let John do his fun thing. But there's also a little bit of like, well, I'm just going to do this and it's just going to fucking get exiled. So why just ruin his day and lose my giant creature?
Nothing. Yeah.
And eventually, John's board did become so problematic, like 4 or 5 turns later, where I did cast the Sin. And everyone, Maddie was like, good.
Everyone
this is
clapped.
a good thing. Yeah, everyone clapped kind of moment.
Yeah.
But the game was better for me having not cast it as early as I could have. I think that would have been a bummer.
For sure. I think the only really fun part about this story here is with the Noxious in hand, they could have tried it again.
Yeah, dude. They definitely could have. Yeah. Especially with, I know some of those Stranger Things. I know some of them can. Oh, yeah. With 11, I think. Hold on. Let me read a card and then I'll fully form a sentence. Oh, weird. If you rate 11, it doesn't show up.
I know. I just tried to do this. I had to look up Sicily because I knew.
Yeah, because you can't find 11. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. Yeah, whenever it attacks, you can draw a card and lose life. And then if you have 11 or more cards in hand, you cast an instant or sorcery from your hand without paying its mana cost.
Yeah. So, I mean, could have potentially just ripped it again, essentially, which would have been pretty dope also, to get it countered and then be like, okay, I'll just do it again next turn when you don't have the counter spell, Dad. So I think it would have been a good ending no matter what, but I'm glad that you just let it happen.
Yeah, for sure.
I do have to shout out the disgusting board state that Jimmy Rustler had. He's like, and I had Kenrith, a Seedborn Muse, and Baldur's Gate with Training Grounds to refill my hand or life total whenever needed. It's like, all right, man, that's fucking ridiculous.
Doing pretty okay.
Yeah. Like, my son had all the Stranger Things characters, and I had a disgusting Seaborn Muse board state. I love it, man. That's some good sugar right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say no salt rating, but what do you think the sugar rating on this is?
Ooh, this is like a spoonful of honey that you dissolve into your tea. It's just the perfect amount of sweet, and it makes you feel warm inside.
It does, and it's good for you. It's actually good for you. It actually antimicrobial too. It's actually good for your immune system.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can put that shit on your wounds.
If you hold a rewind in your hand against a loved one, it's good for your immune system. Yeah. You'll fight off disease better.
Yeah, it is. It's good karma, dude.
Well, another one?
What would be a good search term, Mike?
Convention.
Let's see. Well, we certainly have some convention stories here. All right, this one comes to us from our buddy Cool Whip. And the post is titled Norn, Scorn. And the story goes, good day, HSM. My name is Chris, and I am a recovering salty Magic player. After years of casually playing Magic, I'm happy to say that I'm in remission and have largely given up my salty ways. How did I get here? Well, the turning point was actually a game night that included our very own purveyors of salty stories, Sam and Tony. To learn more, we need to wind back the clocks all the way back to 2020, just before lockdown. I remember this. I remember this game day. I think you might have been there, Mike. I don't know. This is like a draft. Anyways, let's jump into it. I had an unopened box of OG Modern Horizons, which was begging to be drafted. So I reached out to a few college friends to try and make it happen. We had a handful of people come and had a blast drafting, then playing. It was a while ago, but if my memory is correct, Sam walked away with a Renin 6, which I hope still serves you well. I did, and I do still have it. It's a great card. Once the draft match is concluded, the focus of the evening shifts to Commander. In anticipation of this, I had built my first ever Commander deck in the weeks prior. I had resisted delving into Commander until that point, but a recently released card at the time had me excited to finally give it a go. The Commander, Slivdrazi Monstrosity, the test card available in the OG Convention Edition Mystery Boosters, which had just come out at the time. While not technically legal in Commander, I really wanted to give it a go and built what I thought was a pretty nasty deck, combining the explosiveness of Slivers with the might of Eldrazi's. I rule zeroed the use of such a commander with the group, which wasn't a problem at all. It even sounded like everyone was excited to see what it could do. So we jump into the game. Player 4, Get Fucked, was our mutual friend. Let's call him Low Key. He was playing his Captain Sisay deck. It was our buddy Jeff. I remember. Yeah, that deck was nasty. Sam and Tony's decks were inconsequential to the story. That is to say, I don't have a clue what they were playing. I remember getting off to a great start. The general idea of the deck is to use the small 1 and 2 drop slivers in concert with Eldrazi Spawn early to turbo out the huge Eldrazi Sliver Abomination ASAP, which, with my commander out, get all the abilities of all the onboard slivers. Think Void Winnower with flying, indestructible, lifelink, and haste. Brutal, super salty, fun to pilot, but maybe not the best for making friends. Anyways, we are a few turns in, and I have a mana weft sliver and a few other small slivers, which I use to cast a Sliver Overlord. I am feeling pretty great now that the ability to tutor up the exact sliver I might need, not to mention a clutch of cards with some spicy Eldrazi plays. Hoping to see my deck pop off and do its thing in the next turn or two, I sit quietly and try not to draw attention to myself. Next up is Low Key, a veteran MTG player from the 90s who knows how explosive slivers can be and the havoc they cause. To slow me down, he tutors up and casts an infamous card that I was unfamiliar with, the original Elish Norn. He proudly announces that everything gets -2/-2, and I panic. Wait, it does what? Oh no, that blows up pretty much my whole board, minus the Overlord. What do I do now? Scrambling, I solemnly admit to the table that this very effectively shuts me down. No mana weft sliver, no Eldrazi Spawn tokens meant getting my big threats was almost impossible for many turns. I look around the table for help and nothing. Norn resolves. My board is decimated. Low Key looks at me and says, don't worry, just tutor up one of the pump slivers like Megantic Sliver. Then you can cast other little slivers again to play through Norn. No big deal. Except I wasn't playing the classic pump slivers, as that wasn't the plan of the deck. I was very grumpy and almost scooped on the spot. I just felt like I didn't have any options. Remember, this was my first ever homebrew commander deck, built by a limited player with bad deck building habits. Worst of which was not enough interaction, wipes, spot removal, etc. I remember that everyone convinced me to stay in it, explaining that commander games can ebb and flow and tides turn all the time. But I was pretty bitter for the rest of the game, even after the Norn was gone. I don't even recall who won. In retrospect, I'm very embarrassed by my behavior and hope to take this opportunity to formally apologize to those involved. Sorry. I have changed my ways. Since then, I've played a lot more Commander and gotten much less salty. Part of my strategy for salt-free games is to have a goal aside from winning the game outright. For me, I like to play deep-cut cards that no one has ever heard of. If I can get the reaction of, wait, what card is that? In every game, I consider it a win, even if it was not competitive in the match. For me, it makes deck building more fun. The game's more unique, and the conversation while playing more interesting. It also relaxes the pressure of wanting to win. As for Low Key, we're still good friends to this day. I did add some pump slivers to the deck in honor of his Elish Norn that are still in the deck to this day, even if I twitch every time I play them. Well, thank you, Cool Whip. I hope you're doing well, Chris. I'm glad you're listening, dude. Yeah, I remember this day. This is
me
fun.
Too.
Were you there?
Was there.
Yeah,
I was there. Yeah,
okay, cool.
I remember this modern. It was a mystery box draft that we did, right?
So I think we did 2 drafts with Chris. I know that we did a Modern Horizons draft one time, and we might have done. And then I know we did a mystery. No, hold on. Sorry, folks. I got to think. I think it was the Modern Horizon draft, but Chris had got us mystery booster boxes. And we were cracking those packs on the side.
Yeah. That sounds right. And
they were like super hype at the time, hence the Slivdrazi thing, which we should fucking read. We should read that.
We should. I've got it. It says it's colorless and Wooburg for a Sliver Eldrazi. It's a legendary creature. It's an 8/8. And says Eldrazi you control are slivers in addition to their other types. Slivers you control have Devoid and Annihilator 1. And you can pay 3 and create a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi sliver creature token. It has sacrifice this creature, add a colorless.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, it's so busted. I'm shocked I was cool with this in hindsight. I was just glad to be playing Magic. But yeah, I mean, I remember, mostly I just remember that Low Key's Sisse deck was just disgusting. It was just full of the saltiest cards.
Was it Sisse Weatherlight Captain or was it the other one?
It's Sisse Weatherlight Captain. So you tap and tutor a legendary thing into your hand. It had Hikori Dust Drinker in it, which is basically Winter Orb as a creature. Lands don't untap during their controller's untap stuff. Ugh. So it was like it was just full of all these super, super salty, legendary, like stacks pieces, incredibly overwhelmingly powerful things like Elish Norn. And it was just a deck designed to make people rage, essentially. And Loki was very good at doing that. And Loki was also just like the cheeriest, most affable dude, like such a golden retriever of a guy. Like you could not be mad at him. It was, which made it worse because you were just like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, there's nowhere for the rage to go.
Yeah, literally. He's just smiling, so happy, playing these disgusting cards. No idea what I was playing at the time. Probably like Gave still. I think I had that list together back then, or maybe like an early version of Marath. Tony was probably on Hapatra or something along those lines.
Or Grenzo.
Yeah, possibly. I think this was around when Grenzo was like first coming together. But yeah, that's a funny game, man. I'm glad it's funny that Tony's missing this for the apology. Truthfully, I don't remember Chris being that salty. I just remember Jeff's deck fucking us up so badly and just being brutal. And like, that's such a classic line to just be like, don't worry, dude, just tune up a sliver and you can get right through it. Just being so cheery about these horrible plays that he's making.
Yeah. I do feel like that it's such a real thing when you're just starting to brew like commander decks. There's like, you can be a very seasoned Magic player, like play a bunch of limited, play a bunch of other constructed formats. It's another way to have to building singleton. Like most Magic decks you're building, you're picking out like 20 cards maybe.
Yeah.
And doing 4 ofs of most of them. And, you know, a few of those are 2 and 3 ofs. So it gets to 60. When suddenly you're actually picking out 100 cards, it's a totally different thing. You can be missing like whole categories of stuff. And the deck has to plan to play over so many more turns too.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
you got to think about the late game, and you got to think about like different types of removal for the different cards you're coming up against. In standard, you just look at the meta stuff and you're like, can I deal with what's meta? Can I deal with my bad matchups? And I'll sideboard in the shit that, you know, is my Achilles heel. And yeah, it's hard. I remember my first Commander decks were so bad, so disorganized. It's why I didn't like Commander for a really long amount of time, because the decks I built were just dog shit, and they didn't do good things efficiently, and I was so frustrated by that.
Yeah. That's why the modern precons being so good is really nice, because I feel like it's an actual reasonable place to start the game at instead of just fumbling over trying to figure out how to build something and it being garbage.
Definitely, dude. The precons these days, I mean, like I said earlier about the Final Fantasy X precon, it's so good. It's crazy. The fact that it has an infinite combo in it is even better. That's going to be my like go-to precon. Just keep it as a precon forever. Jam it all the time.
Everybody's got to have one.
It's got hardened scales in it, man. How could I hate it? You know, I love that kind of stuff. I really like what Cool Whip said here about having another goal in Commander. I think that's like an important thing for a lot of players who get salty to focus on, is like, give yourself something in the game that's going to give you joy that isn't just winning. A lot of it for me is like, I'm building a deck that's trying to get an engine off the ground. And if I can activate my engine, I don't really care if I win or lose. You know, like if I'm playing Togo Keskit, if I can like crack a ton of artifacts and dig through my deck and drop some shit into play, then I feel pretty satisfied that I'm like making a big splash in the game. I don't necessarily need to win to like appreciate what came out of that game, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I feel that way about fairies. If I can spend most of the game with mana up and get to play things on other people's turns and seemingly not have anything going on, but everyone's like, well, his commander has death touch, I won't attack. Like if I can just be there where I'm like, yes, I'm finding my path, even though I don't have the biggest stuff out on the board. Like if I can just be there, I feel like I'm playing the game. You know?
Yeah. And I feel similarly, or I have similar things with like my Rafik deck and even Kona to the same extent, which is just like putting something so massive and threatening on the board as fast as possible, where everyone is just like, oh shit, Sam needs to die. Like that Rafik is just going to start one-shotting us in 2 turns. I'm like, yeah, dude, you guys got to do something. And it's just sometimes just being the arch enemy for a couple turns. I'm like, that was great. I had so much fun. You guys really did a great job stopping me. Like that's the best, dude.
Yeah. Elish Norn, brutal card.
Incredible card. So good. Really doesn't see enough play, honestly. I think that could be in more decks because it just makes such a splash, man.
Yeah. It's one of those cards that makes a huge splash, but then sometimes it doesn't do much. Like if your opponent is running like, you know, some big creatures and stuff, you play Elish Norn, it's like, okay, my stuff's a little smaller now.
Yeah.
But it can still, like, my 6/6 are still 4/4s. They're still going to hit you. And sometimes it's like, oh, my 1/1s are 3/3s. It's like sometimes Elish Norn just isn't enough to, like, ruin the game. Or, like, one person's Voltron commander is still like, great, I'm still swinging at you for 15 damage. What are you doing about it?
Yeah, the math sometimes does not get you there. But I do think it's like, people could view it more as a finisher in go wide decks and combat decks instead of leaning on, you know, the classic like Crater Hoof and what's the white Crater Hoof?
Moonshaker Cavalry.
Yeah, Cracker Hoof, I think people call it.
Yikes. I mean, great, but yikes.
Well, what do you think about the Sol rating on this one?
This one's rough. It's the mixture of being salty about your own deck not doing what you want it to do, and in my own home, you come into my house, play this silver bullet against my own deck.
Yeah, wanting to scoop in a game that you're hosting at your house feels bad. It feels so bad. Like I'd rather just be in the other room washing the dishes instead of in this fucking game. Yeah, definitely high salt. I mean, feeling that silver bullet thing, especially for a deck that's brand new, you're so excited to show it off. Everyone's agreed to the rule 0 thing. You have like this interesting shtick that you just want to do. And then like one of your oldest friends just absolutely dumpsters you with the perfect card, which of course Sisay deck, this Sisay deck particularly is gonna do that because it's just a tutor in the command zone. So you're just toolboxing for the perfect thing to fuck everyone over. I think this is one of those like subtle salts though, because, you know, Chris is like apologizing, like I was so salty, I feel so bad. And I don't remember that at all. You know, I think sometimes this is like the internal salt that you really, really feel. And maybe because you're feeling it so bad, you feel like everyone else is realizing that you're salty and it's bringing the vibe down. But sometimes I think a lot of that stuff is in your head and you can give yourself a little bit more grace in those moments that, you know, yeah, you're salty. Your deck just got totally blown out of the water. Of course you're going to feel bad. I think that's fine.
Yeah. The real success is talking about this in, you know, in the past tense of like, yeah, don't get so salty about this stuff anymore. I try and find a different thing for the deck to do. And I do have these little pieces now in this Slivdrazi deck that kind of keep it as like a memento of this past moment. Like this is why salt is great, because you can attach a story to it and it can be a learning lesson for you and it can encapsulate all those things. Well, at the bottom of the day, interesting.
Yeah, that's a great saying.
At the bottom of the day, at the end of the day, on the bottom line, at the end of the line.
At the end of the day line.
The end of the day line. It's a story of playing games with your friends that you now remember because it has this this little extra nuance to it.
Yep. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what it's all about. And I think the fact that you edumagicated yourself, dude. You learned from it, grew from it, and hopefully you're not salty in a future Magic the Gathering game. And you aren't. That's the end all be all goal, man. That's great.
Yeah.
So kudos, Chris, and I hope you're doing well, dude.
Well, one more.
Let's do it. Let's wrap it up. One final search term, please.
East.
East. Oh, we're going. Oh, wow. Hold on. There might just be one.
Hell yeah.
Yep. There's only one story. I think there's others that we've read, but there's just one here. All right. This one comes to us from our buddy Dob. D-O-B. Like what Dobby said. Dobby's like, just call me Dob, dude. And the post is titled, Oops, All Rants.
Just call me Dob.
Just call me Dob.
You got any like spare socks?
Just call me Dob.
Just call me Dob.
Dobby would like a Swisher Sweet and a Miller High Life. Have you seen those memes?
Yes, dude.
They're so fucking funny.
Cool Dobby.
Yeah, the cool Dobby. Dobby, now you're free. What do you want? Dobby would like a black and mild and some Hennessy on the rocks. Oh, Dobby. Oh, it's so good. All right, the story goes. Hello, Crusty Dicklings. First time sharing my salty story with my favorite song recommendation podcast. Seriously, y'all mentioned so many bangers for the salty song that I find music through this podcast. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad. I like playing some Modern on MTGO when I'm chilling at home at night, and this story comes from one of those nights. I was on my Modern pet deck, a Thing in the Ice build with Monastery Swift Spear, Goblin Guide, and Delver of Secrets with some burn spells and counters to stabilize. For the uninitiated, Thing in the Ice is 1 and a blue for a 0/4 defender that comes in with 4 ice counters on it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, remove an ice counter from this creature. If it has no ice counters on it, transform it. On the back, it is Awoken Horror, a 7/8 that has when this creature transforms into Awoken Horror, return all non-horror creatures to their owner's hands. It is a horror on both sides. MTGO is a bit of the Wild West of Modern, so you can add a message if you aren't playing in a competitive room. I add that I'm playing fetches and an older deck, and I always start the room. Joining rooms with a deck with fetches leads to too many non-games when you play a fetch and OP scoops and the salt comes. All this is to say, I was trying to avoid salt and just get a halfway decent game of Modern. Are fetches that maligned in Modern? I did not know this.
They must just be emblematic of like signposty
like really
in the same way that like
shit.
CDH stuff is. Yeah.
Yeah. It was late. Goblin time, and my brain decided it would be a good time to get some Modern gaming in. I join up and start with a GLHF as my standard message, no response from OP. No problem at all. They're on some form of a Stoneblade deck, and the game is, what's GLF? Oh, good luck, have fun. Oh,
what's
I get it. I know.
Wow.
I know now.
Come on. Do you?
Good luck, have
Come on.
fun.
Yeah, come on.
Get
What's
lucked
GLHF?
Horth Flayer is what it stands for. They're on some form of a Stoneblade deck, and the game is fun with a bit of back and forth. I see a message pop up saying how my deck is dog shit and I shouldn't even be playing Modern.
Oh no.
I respond with a short, okay. I commit to the board with a Thing in the Ice on the field and 2 Swift Spears and 1 Goblin Guide. Pivoting to the control mode of my deck, I try to clear the way for my little guys and get some damage in. Eventually, OP responds with a supreme verdict. I'm stoked. I will lose my Thing in the Ice, but I can flip it in response. Thing in the Ice has 3 counters on it. 1 was removed earlier in the game, and I have a Manamorphose and 2 other spells, Opt and something else I don't remember, and the Goblin Brain was just so elated to get this, the details get lost. This will send all my hasty shitters back to hand, able to be replayed. With the flip trigger on the stack, there's a big pause in the game. I look to the chat to see what is up. Do you need a safe space? ? Is all that is typed. The salt begins pouring out of my computer to monitor as this person goes on an unhinged rant about how libs are ruining everything.
Whoa.
Oh my God. And comments some various hate-filled political comments. For a moment, I'm stunned. Like, dude, I was just saving the majority of my board. Once the messages stopped, I just say, dude, we are playing a children's card game. Re-fucking-lax. Before conceding, I report his ass. Also, just a note, all bad words are replaced with stars on MTGO, but you can figure it out. Naturally, it is now like 1:30 a.m., and I'm just stunned by this interaction. I chill for a bit with something else, then go to bed and let my brain recover from whatever the hell that was. The world is a wild place, and I didn't know Thing in the Ice was so controversial. Thanks for the show. I don't even like EDH, but I love listening to you all. Dob.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Dob. We appreciate it, dude.
Thanks, Dob. Well, I'm glad there's a little bit of modern in here then. We get one every once in a while.
I was going to say, we need the non-EDH stories every once in a while because it's important. You know, you have to have a varied diet of salt. This is just like some idiot on the internet exploded, man.
Yeah. There's a reason so few like direct 1v1 games have a text chat with your opponent. Like card games just don't do that. Like there's almost nothing good to come out of a game where you're talking exactly to an opponent.
Yes.
Especially in an online environment.
Arena has it figured out by just giving you emotes that you can also mute. Hearthstone, the same way. Like the emotes sometimes are rude enough if they're timed well or phrased in a certain way. Those emotes can be rude enough.
MTGO just comes from a time in the internet where people were more hopeful. They were like, it'll be okay. People can talk to each other and make friends. It's I'd like that, but sometimes random anonymity in the internet is going to lead to vitriol like this, which sucks.
And it's just so weird. Like, because they saved some of their creatures from a board wipe, you go crazy. The libs are constantly saving creatures from board wipes, dude. It's fucked. It's just so stupid, man. It's just like the type of person that is gonna complain about libs ruining everything and say hateful political stuff is also the kind of idiot that is gonna get so salty over just a board wipe in like a 1v1 game late at night. You know what I mean? It's just like, it just speaks to like the caliber of person that they are. It's ridiculous, dude. It's so cringe.
I love the identification of it being goblin time too, because that at least it like puts into perspective how unlikely you would be. You'd be so unprepared to encounter this too. You'd be like, I'm playing my goofy little modern deck. Dude. They're telling me my deck is so bad that I shouldn't even be playing modern. And now I've tilted them so much that they're definitely losing to this deck. We'll put it that way. That's so funny.
I also love the paradox of getting so tilted and being like, do you need a safe space? It's like, I think, do you, dude? Like, what are you talking about right now?
Yeah. A safe space? Yeah, I did. And I generated one with my trigger.
Yeah, I just created a safe space for my creatures that are now safely bounced back to my hand.
Yeah. Triggered by a trigger.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. It's just so corny, dude. People like this are the problem in the world. It's ridiculous, man. Like,
I think
just
the only
unplug. You're reading. It's just so many awful things. People like this fucking suck.
I've played so little MTGO that I don't know if I'm assuming you can report players and stuff on it, like you can in most things. That's pretty much what you've got. You know, you just report this player and move on. And honestly, even sometimes just even trying to reason with someone like this to any extent, like even trying to give them the accurate advice of like, hey, chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
Even that's not worth your time. And you just got to kind of report them and move on from it.
Yeah, man.
It's such a bummer though, because like you can just be playing a game, you know, feeling like you're having a fine time, having some interaction, a bit of back and forth. Yeah. And then you do something and someone goes off. It's like, oh man, I thought we were doing kind of a game with some interesting stuff. And now I'm upset that I was even having fun before with how you've conducted yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, it's tough because like they already sort of got the, like, hey, your deck is dog shit, you shouldn't even be playing modern kind of message. So like there was a red flag here, but I don't know. Like, I get it. People can be rude online. You just push through it, but you don't expect someone to like mentally snap and just go on to like a rant over your thing in the ice deck. Like, give me a break, dude. It's just so strange and kind of cringe. But yeah, you just report this kind of person, screenshot the chat so you can laugh about it with friends. Or I think there's like a Twitter account or Blue Sky account called
MTGO
Salt. Yeah, where they just post like screenshots of people absolutely losing their shit in chats. I follow them and read it often. It's fucking hilarious. Some of the people get so salty, man. It's just like screaming baby diaper full of poop kind of stuff. It's very embarrassing that people react that way.
Yeah.
Over a card game. Like, I get salty, but I don't get salty like that. Like, that's a whole nother level, man. It's pretty wild.
Definitely. Well, what do you think the salt rating on this is?
Dude, it's a thing in the salt crystal, man. It's so high. Like, this person on the other side of the computer needs help. They need a safe space, frankly.
Yeah, they need a safe space.
Yeah, they need some support.
Yeah, they should work on it, and they should find an outlet that isn't typing on the internet to strangers.
Yeah,
if you feel like that's the way that you got to get your rage out, that there's better outlets for it than that.
Yeah, man, just like go for a jog.
Yeah,
get a punching bag or something. Do anything, man.
Do anything besides
else besides yelling at randos online. It's just so cringe.
Yeah. Well,
do I start it? Do you start it?
Is it that time?
Mike, I think it is that time of the week.
Every fucking week.
No, you have to say, what time of the week is it?
What time of the week is it?
It's the time of the week that comes every week.
Every fucking week, baby.
Oh, shit, baby.
Oh, shit, baby.
It's the time of the week where we say, Mike.
Yes.
Mike. What's the salty card of the week?
The salty card of the week this week is...
I'm always full of salt, and I can't take anymore. You had turned one soul ring, and I wonder, is this bracket 4? In the pregame chat, you said it was casual, but then you played Dranith, Chromox, and Jessica's Will. I wonder, how's this bracket 3 when you cast LED? How's this bracket 3 when you have the One Ring? How's this bracket 3 when you just tutored with an M-Seal? Between you and me, you are pub stomping. How's this bracket 3?
How's it gonna be by Third Eye Blind, dude?
Hell yeah.
Am I right? How's this bracket 3 when you don't know me?
Nice. Well, thank you, Sam. That was a lovely, salty song.
Thanks, Mike. And that's just, like I said, how's it going to be? Third Eye Blind was not a suggestion. That's just from my own brain, folks. That's just a little thing I cooked up.
It's just something you had sitting around there.
Something I had sitting around.
Well, the salty card of the week this week is Sway of the Stars.
Ooh, baby. I love this card.
Do you? Do you know this one?
Yeah, I know this card.
Of course you do. It's 8 and 2 blue for a sorcery. Each player shuffles their hand, graveyard, and all permanents they own into their library, then draws 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7.
Incredible.
So you know this one.
Yep.
Little Betrayers of Kamigawa, huh?
Exactly. Betrayers of Kamigawa. I pulled this from a pack back in the day, dude. I think this card makes me salty because it was unplayable for many years. Is it still banned? No, it's unbanned now, but it was banned in Commander for a very, very, very long time, which I think is kind of strange because it's not very good. It's kind of a bad card. I get it because it just kind of resets the game fully and everyone's life total becomes 7. But there's just something about it. The art is really cool. The ability to reset the game feels insane. And for 10 mana to have such a powerful effect, I always just was so enamored with this card and was kind of bummed that I couldn't play it. But I got to say, now that I can play it, now that it is legal, I don't really want to. because I do think it is bad.
Yeah.
And I get why it's salty. Like a full game reset, come on. No one wants to stop everything they do, restart the game, and start playing again. That's like literally the whole point of MLD and why it sucks is that no one wants to, have that soft restart and start playing one land at a time and rebuild your mana base. With Sway the Stars, it's everything. It's not just MLD. Every single thing gets shuffled back in, and you just basically play a whole new game. It's a very irritating effect.
Yeah. It is essentially 10 mana, start a new game.
Yeah.
Where everyone's life is at 7, which is weird. That's a pretty weird effect. Like it's like borderline Shahrazad. Like I get why people don't like this kind of effect.
I think it's one of those things where you could have stuff in exile with like suspend.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about that with Worldfire as well, or some other comparable effect.
True.
Like
Exile is your one zone that is not impacted, but this hits every permanent, your whole hand, your whole graveyard. It's like you do really need to do specifically exile as like a holding zone to have stuff ready to go.
Yep.
Because this, in a lot of cases, can lead exactly to a game where you play this card and essentially nothing about the game up until that point mattered anymore. Except command tax, I guess. Like command tax will matter.
Poison counters.
And poison, yeah. That's true too.
So it's just a second game that's worse than the first one.
Yeah. So I get why people don't like this kind of thing for sure.
And I think if you had some kind of trick in exile, some kind of big thing with suspend, and you cast this, I just don't think people would shuffle up. I think they would just say, oh yeah, like we restart the game, your thing comes in from exile, you kill us, the game's over,
Maybe.
Are you really going to play through that?
I think the weird part about this compared to Worldfire is Worldfire, no one has anything in hand. So it's like, okay, maybe one of us lucks into something first. Everyone has a full grip of 7. So like if people are running efficient removal or they're running, cheeky stuff like, I don't know, days or whatever, like things that can interact without necessarily needing resources in play.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess days is a bad example, but like specifically those kinds of things will still be able to work. Force of will, yeah. Obviously, a lot of those are stronger power, which maybe isn't where you're seeing Sway of the Stars get played. But there is something about having a full grip of 7 that, to me, would make me less likely to not play it. Like Worldfire, I feel like, I might be screwed. But 7 cards in hand, I can probably stitch something together.
Yeah, it's true. I guess it depends on what you draw into. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's kind of a bad card. It was strange that it was banned for so long. Because of this reason, like it just seems more of an inconvenience than actually like a very powerful win con, because you're just resetting everything. And the other thing is that if you cast this on your turn and you already played a land, you cannot play another land. You already got your land drop for turn.
You put yourself in seat 4, pretty much.
You immediately put yourself in seat 4. So there's just a lot of weird things with this where it can just kind of oh man. Let me complete my thought. There's a lot of things in this where it can just kind of fuck you up. Looking at the rulings for this card, changes in life total are treated as life gain and life loss. Isn't that interesting? So there must be something that could be done there.
I don't know how that would be relevant. Like if you play wound reflection after.
Yeah, you somehow like turn 1, rip down a wound reflection right after, and then blast everybody. I don't know. But yeah, it just seems kind of bad. How do you feel about this card, Mike? I mean, you kind of already said, but it just doesn't seem very good.
10 mana, don't necessarily put yourself in an advantage. Potentially wipe away 40 minutes or whatever, an hour of what the game has been so far. Feels pretty unpleasant to me. I'm glad I have not seen this get introduced to a bunch of decks just because it was unbanned.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it ever played in a game.
Yeah. That said, where do you think this lands in the top 300 saltiest cards?
This is an interesting one because I do think, as rare as this effect is, it's very salty if you read it. Just a full game reset is frustrating. But people probably don't play against it too much. I'm going to say 228 as my guess.
Nice. And to simulate the listener, I hope you've written your guess at home. Listener, you are being backed up by a random number generator between 1 and 300, which will be a stand-in for your actual guess. And you have guessed 81.
Dumbass.
The listener won.
What is bullshit? No.
No, the listener won. This is 97. This is up in the top 100. Yeah. So the listener blew you out of the water.
I'm the dumbass. No. That's 97. That's brutal.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. People really don't like
happy
this.
about that. Yeah, it makes me wonder if there's some, sort of lingering upsetness due to it coming off the ban
I
list.
wonder
And
that
people
too.
Just wishing things weren't changing.
It should have just stayed banned almost because it's one of those cards to me. I think that there's a lot of situations like this with the ban list where it comes off the ban list. There's a question of like, did it ever need to be banned? I don't necessarily think so. But does it add anything to the game to take it off the ban list? I definitely don't think so. So I don't think cards should be banned just for the sake of having always been banned. But at the same time, I think we should only unban cards if they're adding value back to the game. And I don't think Sway the Stars is adding anything to the game of Commander.
I agree. I don't think it's doing too much. That said, Wan Shi Tong All Knowing. Do you know this other Wan Shi Tong?
It's played in, the other Wan Shi Tong. Yeah, how many decks is this played in, Mike? Give us some stats
It's
here.
not in much. It's not in much. It's in 2,000 of them. So, more than zero. The other Wan Shi Tong has a whenever one or more cards are put into a library from anywhere, create 2 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens. With this token can't block or be blocked by non-spirit creatures. I think that might trigger off of
this resolving.
Off of this resolving, which is pretty hot.
I mean, makes sense because if a blood artist can see itself die, then Wan Shi Tong should be able to see itself get shuffled into a library, right? It's kind of no different logic-wise.
Yeah. So I guess you still only get one per player though, with how it's phrased, since it's a library into anywhere. So it counts the number of libraries, but still.
Dude, that gives you 8 1/1s after it's
4
resolved?
1/1s. Or 1/1s.
No, you create 2 1/1s.
Oh, you create 2. So yeah, 8. So
8
then enough time to
1/1s
kill each.
They can't
each
be
player.
blocked by non-spirit creatures. They're dead, dude.
I mean, they're at 7.
They're
so
at
they
7.
are kind of dead.
Yeah, just one player at a time. Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
The other top commander is Joyer of the Gitu with the fucking suspend. Fucking called that shot. Oh, man. Commander number 6. Taniwa. Phase out all lands you control, dude.
Just the blue player sicko. Actually, that makes sense too, because I guess phased out stuff can, weird.
Oh yeah, so I guess you can
phase out all your lands.
Yeah, could you Teferi's Protection? Could you drop this and then cast a Teferi's Protection over it and just avoid the effect?
I guess you could. And
that's interesting.
Draw 7, go to 7.
Yeah, that's strange. I think you'd still have to shuffle your hand away, but I think your board would be safe. Weird. What a strange card, man.
Yeah, odd one. Well, that wraps it up for the Salty Card of the Week. Thanks for playing.
Number 8 is Vivi or Natir. Who's putting this in a Vivi deck? It's in 43 decks out of 30,000, so not that popular.
I think just because you can make so much mana with Vivi that you can make a ton.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then cast it with a bunch of mana floating, replay Vivi, and then play out a bunch of stuff on top of it and burn everyone down with the triggers.
Maybe this card is good, man.
Maybe this card should be running more decks.
Yeah, maybe this card is cracked.
Wait, maybe we're cooking.
We're coming up with all these interesting cases. Yeah, I mean, floating mana. I didn't even consider that. Interesting. Well, thanks, Mike. That is a perplexing salty card. And thank you to the listener out there for tuning into another episode of the Howling Salt Mine podcast. You know we're going to shout out our Salt Shaker tier. And this week we have Accidental TPK, Bobo Fett, Clearbrook, Rothbox, Captain Cross, Sire Speedy, Thoughtsman's Prime, Dusty Cupboards, Guy Stromling, Doug's Dad, Bark Bark, Serotinus Sequoia, Ramming Speed, Dev JP, Tadan Kong, Pez, David Scott, The Crimson Chariot, Stormtrooper Jake, The Quiet One, Daddy Burns, Cosmic Cryptid, Thumbs 3, Lieutenant Dan MTG, Oblio, Bucky Barnes, Purjo Chosenko, Chris Poole, and Swankub. Thank you all for being so awesome and supporting our show. We really appreciate it. If you want more Howling Saltmine in your life, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Howling Saltmine. If you want a shout out in the show, like the ones that you heard just now or at the beginning of the episode, you can check out those tiers. If you want more bonus content, you know we got it. We got new episodes of our Extra Salt series coming out every single month. We have like almost 40 of them now. There's a lot of them. So a bunch of great bonus content on there that you can check out. We have an awesome Discord community. And we also do Patreon game nights once a month where we jam games with our patrons in the mind. Get the whole community bumping. Everything from Bracket 2 all the way up to CDH. It's a really, really good time.
Yeah, we haven't fired a Bracket 1 pod yet, but the option is there. You can select that option for what you're trying to play.
Yep, it could happen maybe someday. Yeah, I won't be in that pod, though. Another way you can help support us is to send us your salty stories. You can send them to our website, which is thehowlingsaltmine.com or howlingsaltmine.com. Both are going to get you there. We are inconsistent with the. As you know, we've got a form on there that you can fill out and submit and get your salty story right to us, or submit it directly to our Gmail, which you can find at thehowlingsaltmine@gmail.com. Other ways you can support us, check out our merchandise. We've got our shirts over on Bonfire. We have our custom Dragon Shield sleeves on the Dragon Shield website. You can also use our affiliate code, Stay Salty, all one word, all lowercase, on Dragon Shield to get 5% off your purchase. And you can check out our custom playmats over at the Jank Mats website. Other ways you can support us, give us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast app of choice, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. That goes such a long way to boosting us in the algorithm and showing other people that our show is worth listening to. A lot of people just find us randomly through Spotify algorithms these days. Also, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Check out our short form content whenever we're posting it. And watch the video episodes, man. I haven't plugged those in a while. We do 2 a month. They're really fun. You get to see our beautiful faces. For some of you out there, I know that's scary, but you can look at us. You can see us. You can perceive us if you wish. I swear the shock will wear off at some point of matching our faces to our voices.
Maybe.
I am not a giant burly man with a big beard. I know you think that, but I'm not. Last but not least, you know we got to shout him out, our buddy Devin Burnett, for giving us our beautiful podcast art that we rock every single week. If you're ever in Asheville, North Carolina, hit him up and get a tattoo because he's a really cool guy. 10,000 subscribers are blessed. Wow, thanks, Tony. Indeed. Well, thanks again, everybody. Stay salty. And as always, stay salty. And don't forget to draw an additional card during a draw step. Bye.
It's the Howling Salt Mine. The Howling Salt Mine.
I was hanging out with my sister-in-law today. She was in town from Colorado. And I was like showing her something on my computer, and she looks at my Gmail and she's like, "Why is your font so huge?" And I was like, "I have to be able to read the stories when I'm reading them." She's like, "Something wrong with your eyes, dude." All right. Over on our bonfire. Oh, hold on.
Almost.
Yeah, first, baby.
Oh, did we get a new one?
Someone just came in.
Third. We got
2
2 on the podium. I don't think we've ever had 2 on the podium.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I saw one come in earlier in this episode.
I just saw that you saw someone come earlier. That's so funny.
The only time I get first anymore is when I'm on my laptop like this. All right. What was I saying?